Years ago, I bought this thesaurus to help me with my writing. When I got stuck trying to think of the right word with the right subtlety to get my point across, old Rodale would come to the rescue. I would fumble through testing different word roots and combinations, and most of the time this book would get me through. And here's the thing, I never once had to worry about my copyright because the book didn't come with one of these: a user agreement. This one is from OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, but if you use software in any form or work online or use social media, you've clicked a button and agreed to words like these hundreds, maybe thousands of times. We practically do this in our sleep. And okay, so what's my point? Well, the simplest metaphor I can come up with for large language models like ChatGPT is that they act like an enormously sophisticated and automated thesaurus for words, phrases, and concepts, which they then recombine at your whim and command. It's all very cool, of course, and a lot of people find these tools to be enormously helpful in generating content. But then what? Whose content is it, really? When I used the old Rodale thesaurus to polish my writing, no one could question my rights to my own work, and the publisher, Warner Books, had no claim on my thoughts and ideas. They were completely and clearly my own. But what happens to ideas when ChatGPT or any other AI project owned by third-party investors gets added to the creative mix? The user agreement certainly holds some clues about this, and I will unpack portions of that contract language in a future video. But the short answer is probably that nobody really knows. Think about that. Nobody knows who owns what. And if you're using a large language model to brainstorm and cook up ideas, can you really lay claim to the intellectual property generated, or could the AI owners someday sue you for breach of contract and in the process confiscate the copyrights, trademarks, and the business plans you've worked so hard to develop and register in your name? I don't know. It's a big question. And we will eventually have these answers. Lawsuits will make their way through courts, and lobbyists will drop millions of dollars to pass laws which give AI owners another advantage over everyday people. But at this juncture, very little has been litigated and very few laws have been written to decide for sure who owns what. And that is the point of this series of videos, to get people, especially small business owners, but really anyone, thinking and talking about the real-world implications of these AI tools. Because if you're not mindful of the risks, well, poof, it's entirely possible that the rewards for your work will end up dropped into another person's pocket, and that would be a horrible tragedy. So do me a couple of favors. First, take some time to think about these things before you type your next prompt. And before you go, like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future episodes. And until the next time, please remember that being your own human self is rarely a bad idea.